So we're talking about hypersensitivity in this video, and a hypersensitivity is essentially just an allergic reaction. Think of your body as being hypersensitive to something, like really ultra sensitive. Now, the first one's type 1 hypersensitivity. So they start from the most acute and work down to chronic. So type 1, most acute. And you can think of this as your emergency, as your anaphylaxis is the most immediate effect. So you're exposed to something that you're allergic to, you get immediate mast cell degranulation, which releases histamines and IgE, and all sorts of things happen. And it's just generally really quite bad. Stuff them full of adrenaline and inject them with even more adrenaline. A marker of this is going to be a mast cell tryptase because it's the mast cell degranulation, but essentially just if you think emergency, E for emergency, IgE mediated, it's your acute anaphylaxis one. Then you've got your type 2 hypersensitivities, and your type 2 ones are IgG mediated. So think type 2 is 2 Gs, IgG. Now type 2 has 2 types. So there's loads of 2s in type 2 hypersensitivity. So the 2 types are type 2A and type 2B. In type 2A, you have your cytotoxic type, okay? So think of all those little curly letters, C's and the O's and the A. In cytotoxic, it's forming blisters. It's macrophage destruction, okay? Your macrophage come along, they destroy things. They create blisters, and this is pemphigus falacius, the example of the condition with the cytotoxic version. Now, 2B is more self-stimulating. It's like taller letters, self-stimulating in communication. Now, the second type of type 2 has 2 Gs again. So type 2B is your second type of type 2, and it's got another 2 Gs, which is Graves' disease and myasthenia gravis, for your example of your type 2B hypersensitivities. Type 3 is an immune complex mediated condition. So think of type 3 has 3 words: immune complex mediated. Yeah. And essentially you're just getting complexes, so big granules and stuff of your immune system. It's normally your complement system, but it's just proteins and just they're all clumping together, and then they deposit in your microvasculature. Now think where in your body are the microvasculature, especially where are the important ones? Well, you've got microvasculature in your kidneys. If you get deposits there, you get lupus nephritis. Get deposits in your lungs, you get hypersensitivity, pneumonitis. So immune complex mediated, 3 words, deposits of stuff. Then you've got your type 4, which is probably the most complicated. But just think type 4 is your CD4 T cells, okay? Type 4 is your most chronic version. So T cells is purely your adaptive immune response, and the adaptive immune system takes like 5 to 7 days to kick in. So that's why it takes a lot longer. So you just need to work through the different types of T cells, type 4 hypersensitivities. And CD4 T cells, they can be divided into Th1 and Th2. The Th1 are more macrophage orientated, they're extracellular. Specifically, they work with interleukin-2, interferon gamma, and interleukin-12, but that's not important. I wouldn't fret about it. And your clinical concepts of Th1, CD4, type 4 hypersensitivities are contact dermatitis and follicular reaction. I like to think of this as, so remember before when we had the macrophage type 2 reactions, that is a skin condition, pemphigus falacius. For this one, we've got more macrophage involvement, but more chronic, so therefore it's contact dermatitis. So more skin conditions, they act on the outside. Macrophage is very extracellular, so just the external thing. And also you've got your tuberculin reaction. Th2 cells are eosinophilic. So this is your allergies. So remember, allergies is your body essentially thinking that this pollen particle is a parasite. So an allergic response is exactly the same response as you would have to a parasitic response. Your eosinophils, they're producing interleukin 4, 5, and 13. Again, not that important, don't fret about it. But eosinophils, they are triggering your classic atopic triad. That's your asthma, your hay fever, and your eczema. So chronic asthma, chronic rhinitis, atopic eczema. And so atopic triad is Th2, CD4, type 4 hypersensitivities. Now the last one, CD8 T cells. So 8 is double 4, that's how you remember, like CD4, CD8. So your CD8 T cells, these are also cytotoxic. Think of 8 as in like 7, 8, 9, like 8 eats things, 8 eats things up. So cytotoxin, and the role of CD8 T cells is to release perforins and granzymes to destroy things. So that's what it's doing, it's destroying stuff. So your examples of this are early onset type 1 diabetes mellitus, where the CD8 T cells, they come along and they destroy the cells in the pancreas, so you get diabetes. Also, graft rejections and drug reactions. So you're destroying the cells in the graft, or you're reacting to the drug and then destroying more cells. Very destructive. And that is your 4 hypersensitivities in a nutshell. So I hope that's helpful. There are more. There's type 5, 6, and 7, but you'd never be asked about that in an exam.